to be doing this geode. So I don't know if you guys can see overhead. I can't see what I am doing tonight because of our setup. So I'm hopefully, if you can't see, let Emma know and I can adjust. But we're going to be painting this geode. And I am starting with a white canvas. You could start with a black canvas also, but I just have a white canvas here. And I'm going to grab a pencil and I am going to sketch this out once we get started. It'll just give me some guidelines. Again, typically we've poured our geodes, but we're going to actually paint this one. And I'm going to walk through the colors that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using linen. And again, if you don't have the exact colors, it's totally fine. Use what you have. If you want a pink geode, a purple geode, absolutely go with it. I have some blues and teals and turquoise here that I'm going to be using. So it's going to look very similar to the painting. So we're using a linen, which is an off-white. It's a creamy white, but again, you could use a bright white. I have linen. I have navy. So that's going to be our darkest color. So I have Folk Art Navy. I have teal and a drift. And then I'm actually going to bring in a light blue also. So any of these will work. You just want a really good range to get this beautiful blending. And then I have Treasure Gold, which is great to use under the Glitterific Gold. And I have Glitterific Gold, like I said, and we also have Tropical Glitterific. So I just have these upside down because it's so thick that if I try to squeeze it when we're on air, it's really hard to get out. You guys can see, look how thick that is. So I hope you can see that. That is Glitterific. It is Glitterific. It is the most glittery paint. It's so thick. It dries with no mess, which is amazing. So it's not like loose glitter. You can rub your hand on it when it dries and there will be no mess. So I just have these guys upside down when I get started so it all goes to the bottom and it's easy to get out. I'm also going to be using a 1-inch flat brush and a smaller, like 3/4 inch brush. But again, you're just going to be base coating large sections and blending. So grab what you have. CraftSmart makes a ton of great brushes. And we typically recommend just a value pack of the CraftSmart brushes that you can use. So Emma, does anybody have any questions before we get started?
I think they're just excited, Kira. One person said they're super excited about this painting because they collect rocks with their grandmother.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, again, make it yours and personalize it. You could do, I think this would be really pretty if you did like 3 canvases and hung them on a wall too.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to start sketching out just using a pencil and I'll try to press dark. You don't need to press as dark as I'm pressing, but I'm just going to sketch this out to get started. So I'm actually going to turn it like this. So I hope that's not confusing to everybody. And I'm looking at one here also on my screen. Okay, so I am just going to sketch, and this is just loose. And this is just going to give you a guide. And it's exactly like you would think. You're just doing basically arches, almost like a wobbly rainbow on your canvas. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
I'm going to hold it. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. So 3 small and then 1 big down the middle. And then I'm going to do some smaller. And again, this is just a guide. So everyone's going to be a little bit different. So you can see, as long as you have smaller on the outsides and your corners, and then you've got your bigger band of color down the center, that's what you want. So I'm going to give everybody a second to do that. That's funny. I was going to paint like this, but I think I'm going to paint like this. So either way works. So you guys can see that's what we're going to get. And again, if you want more teal, more blue, this looks really blue. On the screen, it looks really teal. And you can mix colors too.
And I feel like the great thing about this painting, Kira, is that it's so versatile. You can really use any color to replicate your favorite gemstone.
Absolutely. Like I said, you could do a blue, a purple, a pink, black and white, and grays would be really beautiful also. And you can use silver and gold glitters would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And just to remind everybody, we're just using Folk Art acrylic paint tonight and mixed in with some Folk Art specialty paint, some of our favorite specialty paint that Folk Art has.
Yeah, so I'm going to get started with navy blue. So I'm just going to put some on my palette here. And I'm just gonna start and I'm just gonna follow. I'm gonna do this top corner with the navy blue. And again, you are just filling in and you wanna go down and get your sides. So it looks like a finished canvas when you are complete. Would also be pretty if you don't want to frame this. What you could do is you could take your treasure gold and paint all the edges gold. That would be really pretty too. You know, kind of like the geodes that you buy. So you know, like the decorative coaster ones, it would have just like a really pretty gold edge.
Totally.
And if your paint is pooling, you may just need a little bit more paint or add a little bit of water.
Totally. So someone said they're having trouble finding the specialty paint, and I think this is a really great painting to just keep with the regular folk art acrylic too. If you can't get your hands on the specialty paint right now, you can always add it later or leave it how it is. It'll still be really pretty.
Absolutely. So, and if you can't find the specialty and you do want to add a little bit of glitter or sparkle to your geode, you could always use loose glitter and Mod Podge. So that is a great alternative. Again, just loose glitter and Mod Podge and then seal it with Mod Podge and it's gonna keep the glitter from rubbing off also. But that's a great alternative, whether it's, I would use a glossy Mod Podge if you have it. Mod Podge Ultra would be great, but any Mod Podge and loose glitter would do the trick also if you can't get glitterific. Okay, so I am going to paint on my second line. And you can kind of see when it starts pulling, just go back in and kind of go back over. Don't start like right there, right? So you just want to kind of keep working it. And you're going to get really nice, smooth edges. Again, I'm going to go right over my canvas here. Whoop. Okay. And then I'm going to skip down to this bottom and I'm going to go on this line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 in and paint this navy blue. Again, so depending what color palette you are using, use your darkest on here. So whether you're using black or purple or reds or pink, use your darkest or brightest color.
Someone asked, Kira, are you using palette paper to hold your paint tonight?
I am using palette paper. So paper plate or parchment paper will work great, but I am using palette paper. And Michaels carries a great, they've got a couple different ones. Artist Loft makes one. That's the one we typically use. And it's in the fine arts section. So it's not in the craft section. So if you want to find it, it's in the fine arts section if you're at the store. Okay, so that's the majority of my dark. I'm actually going to do one more little line here. Now that I look, because this is basically this dark blue is going to be the base coat for your tropical glitterific. So sorry to be jumping. Took a look at my painting. How's everybody doing? Am I good?
Yeah, great, Kira. Everyone's enjoying watching you paint. They're all painting along with you.
Okay. Get him filled right in. I have a lot of paint on here. Okay. Just kind of smooth him out. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse my brush. Okay, and next I am gonna hit him with a hair dryer real quick while people are filling in their navy. So I'm gonna hit him with a hair dryer real quick. couldn't turn them off. Okay. And if you're using a hair dryer, you just want to toggle between the hot and the cold. You don't want to do too hot so it gets gummy. So the hot and cold is a nice mix there. Okay, so next I'm going to do my lighter blue. I'm going to base coat. So I'm actually going to use this Adrift, which is kind of like a tealy blue. And I have some light blue. I don't think this was listed, but I'm going to mix a little bit of my light blue with it. If you want, absolutely stick with the teal if that's what you're going for. I just have some light blue here.
Or if you don't have that light blue color, you could add a touch of navy blue and some white, since those are things you have, or your linen.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great tip. Again, you can mix and blend this so well. Okay, so I am just filling in. You can see right between my two navies, and it's okay if your navy isn't completely dry and it starts to blend, because that's what you want. Because I'm going to go back and show you that you're going to blend this to get like a gradation, like almost like an ombre. So it's okay if it's pulling some of your navy.
And Kira, Jacqueline said, for a glossy look, do you suggest a clear spray paint when the product is finished? We also have, that's a great idea. Our Folk Art acrylic paint is matte, but we also have a multi-surface formula at Michael's, which is a satin finish. So if you're looking for something a little bit glossier, something that's not so matte, maybe that's the paint for you.
Yep, and also another alternative is you could seal it with Mod Podge gloss, because that'll give you a really good shine.
Mm-hmm. And we also carry a really awesome aerosol spray, Mod Podge gloss at Michael's as well.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I am just filling in this biggest, I want to say chunk, this biggest part, this biggest stripe of my geode right now. And again, I'm just using Adrift. I have a little bit of light blue if you want to mix that in, but this Adrift is really pretty.
Here, this would be a great idea for a gift for Mother's Day. If you know your mom's birthstone, it'd be a really neat idea to paint her a gemstone in her birthstone colors.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea for anybody to paint your gemstone. I love that idea, Emma.
Yeah.
Like really personalize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great idea.
What's your birthstone, Kira?
I'm an opal, so I guess you would need some iridescent glitterific.
Yeah.
What's yours, Emma?
I'm a ruby.
You're a ruby because you're a July baby, right?
Yep.
Yep, I'm October. I'm opal.
Mm-hmm. So right now, Kira's using some Folk Art Adrift mixed with a little bit of a light blue color. Any light blue will do, but in the event listing, we listed it as Adrift.
Yep, so this is Adrift.
Yep. And Kira, someone said, looks like 60s funk art before you blend it.
Oh, I like that. I actually need to, I'm just gonna paint him all in there. Okay, so we've got a great base coat of that, and then I am going to paint down this middle with the linen. Whoops. All right, I'm gonna have to fix him, you guys. All right, so I'm just gonna finish basically base coating my gemstone with this linen. I typically wait to paint the edges so I can pick it up easily, but I want this to look like it's finished. And again, it's okay if some of the navy bleeds. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that little dollop of linen that splashed on there.
And some people are saying we're going a little fast, but the good part about this painting is we're going to be repeating the same techniques that Kira's going to teach you over and over again. So if you fall a little bit behind, you won't miss it because Kira will be replicating what she did a couple more times.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna let everybody get caught up for a second. I'm just gonna fix this little drop that I did with my navy here. Just gonna cover him right back up. And that's okay, because we're gonna put glitterific on him, and glitterific makes everything better.
Very true.
Okay. So I'll give everybody a second to get caught up. I'm gonna go ahead and just put some teal on my palette. So let you guys get caught up.
And Gail said she likes to take screenshots of her computer screen so she can look back at them later.
Oh, that's a good, kind of like a step-by-step. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my brush. And so the dark we're gonna leave. We're not gonna really mess with that too much because we're gonna cover most of that up with a glitterific. But I am gonna take my brush, just rinsed it off. There's still a little bit damp. And I am going to mix some of the Adrift and some of the teal. And go ahead and put a little bit of navy in there also. So Adrift, teal, and navy. And you're gonna, this is like really pretty, I don't know. It's just like another shade of teal, like it's a darker. It's really pretty. It looks like a jewel almost. It's very jewel tone.
Mm.
Okay. And then you don't want a ton of paint on your brush, so wipe a little bit off. And then I'm going to go in to this Adrift striped, our biggest stripe. I'm going to start blending it right into the Adrift. And so you really just want to work it. And then grab some Adrift and blend it. So does that make sense? You're just working the dark and the light together.
Yeah, so you're adding a little bit of the color that you want to show up.
Yep, so a little bit of dark. So you want to do dark on your left edge that butts up to the navy. Then we have this beautiful mid color. And then go ahead and take some Adrift and just blend it.
That looks great. And you're not rinsing your brush in between. You're keeping the color on your brush.
And you don't need a ton of paint.
Looks great.
Yep. So can you see that?
Totally.
So you just want shades. So you don't want it just to be like that. If somebody said like a very retro stripe, you want it to have some like gradation and tones. So this is Adrift, navy, and teal.
And you're mixing that with your Adrift.
I am. So I took Adrift. If you guys can see my palette, I have a big mess here. So Adrift, teal, and a little bit of navy.
Bianca said it looks like a river.
It does look like a river. It's going to be a very shiny river.
Hmm.
Okay. And then again, if you get too much paint, just wipe it on your brush. No need to go back into the water. You can just use a brush and dry that right off and smooth it out. Okay.
Looks great.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So next we're going to do the same thing to this big section, but instead of doing dark on one side, we're going to do dark down the middle. So I'm going to take the navy and teal and Adrift. I'm going to mix some more. So teal, navy, and Adrift. And you guys, can you see that my palette's a mess? But look, this is Adrift. That's the navy and that's the teal. So this is the color we're aiming for. It's just like a beautiful middle range of color. Okay. And we are going to split this big section right down the middle and just follow the curves. And again, when it starts to pull, just get some more paint.
So Kira, Karen had a really awesome question. She wanted to know, does the base coat need to be wet still for the colors to blend together?
They don't need to be, because you're using a light, a medium, and a dark, it's okay.
Right, you're adding some more paint.
You're
right
adding, right? So this is dry, like that's dry, but because I do a medium, dark, light, and medium and kind of work it into each other, it's totally fine. If you weren't going to add and you just wanted it to blend with your dark, it would need to be wet. But because you are adding additional, because I'm adding light back in, it'll blend right on top of your base coat. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay, so I am just doing the same thing that I did to the top, to the bottom. And I want my dark line down the center. And we can actually go back and add a little bit more dark to him if we need to. And I hope you guys can see this happening. It's hard to have to get in there and play with it, but definitely mix your teal, adrift, and navy, create your stripe, and then just blend it out.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets a little dry, you can add a little bit of water, and water kind of helps it blend also. So you can always add a little bit of water. Okay?
That's great.
Okay, then I'm going to take just some teal, so just teal and just navy. And I'm going to make a darker shade, and I'm going to make a line right down the center. So can you guys see that?
Yes, that looks really pretty.
I want everybody to be able to see this. So again, dark down the center and then blend out.
And so when you blend, Kira, you're moving your brush vertically, right? And not horizontally.
Correct. I'm going vertically because my canvas is vertical. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And you can add, it's almost like veins you're adding. If I was painting like this, I would go horizontal. But I'm going up and down. And again, if your paint's dragging or you want like a little bit of help blending, go ahead and just add a little bit of water. Is that helping everybody?
Yeah. And so someone said, I think I blended way too much. So a good solution for that is always just add a little bit more paint. If you see too much of a light color or you see too much of a dark color, go ahead on the top of your paint and add more of the color that's missing.
Absolutely. So yes, absolutely. So if you're like, oh, I have too much dark, just take a little bit of the light color, like right here, if I don't like that, and just work your light in there. Because you don't want it to look like lines, like you painted lines on it. You do want it to be blended. So if you're like, oh, that's kind of harsh, just take and blend a little bit of water and a little bit of light, and it'll just fade it away. See, so you can, if I'm like, oh, that line's too wide, just keep working it and it'll soften it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this bottom corner. So for this, it's going to be the opposite of the top. I want to do dark next to my dark, fade into light. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take a drift, navy, and teal, and I'm going to work it next to my navy stripe. And go right over the edges. And then I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to take some adrift and I'm going to blend it. And just keep working it back and forth. If you're like, oh, it's a little too light, go right back into that mix and just keep playing with it. And almost like short, choppy strokes so you don't get that line. Can everybody see that? I hope it's
Yeah,
it's hard to like, I want everybody to see it. It's hard to explain the blending.
yeah. Yeah, someone said great tips for blending the colors to soften the lines. So I think you're doing a
Okay, good. Yeah, so just again, a little bit of water, a little bit of a drift, your lightest color, and just use that to blend out.
and it's a process. So if you don't get it right the first time, you can always use more paint. You don't ruin it just because you don't like what you did at first.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep adding. Like this is getting a little dark. I'm going to add a little bit more drift. But again, I'm kind of like working, you can see like short, choppy strokes to blend it. So we're just not getting stripes. Okay. I'll give everybody need a second to catch up because we've done the hard part, you
That's
guys.
a good idea. I know.
We just get to add the fun part.
All the goodies.
I know. Fastest paint night ever. It really is. If people have questions about blending, I would love to answer them.
Okay, so someone said, how will you blend if the paint underneath is dry?
So, good question. So, because you're adding a dark, medium, and light, you're going to blend. You basically just base coated your canvas. Instead of typically when we start, we'll base coat a canvas a solid color, and that's how we start. But this, we base coated stripes. So that's your base. Then by adding the tones that we added, you can blend. So you already have a base. Then we're adding a dark and a light, and we're mixing those on top of your dry canvas.
Okay, so you're
Does that
adding
make sense? And then you can add some water to help also.
Yeah, you're adding the new colors on top of the base coat. So it is kind of wet paint.
Yep, because I mean, this is completely dry, but if I wanted to make, if I wanted to add more dark, I hope this helps. Taking a light blue and a navy blue and just working that together, you can see the more you work it, that's how does that help?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so you're just, by doing the base coat of the stripes, that's your base coat. And then you're adding the colors to blend. So don't worry about like, oh, I have to hurry or my base coat's dry. You're gonna blend right on top of that base coat.
Yeah, the base coat was mainly to get the shapes of our geode and to get our initial colors down. Then we added more colors on top and we blended those colors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Kira, someone said, let me try to find it. It was really cute. They are making this on a jewelry box for their mom.
Oh, I love that.
And someone asked, did you paint directly on the bare canvas?
I did. So these canvases, they are Artist Loft from Michael's, of course, and they are already pre-gessoed. So you don't need to do anything. You just pop them out of your package and they work. So canvas, wood, I love the jewelry box idea. Absolutely. You could paint this any size on any surface. This is also really great to do on, Michael's has a lot of great wood, like wood slices. You know what I mean? It looks like you cut a tree and they're about yay big. I don't know what camera's looking at me, but they're round wood and they have the bark. This would be really beautiful on that. We've done them on round surfaces and then we paint the outside of the bark with treasure gold and it really looks like a true geode. You could also do them on the little, we call them wood cookies. So like the little wood coasters or a coaster, a set of coasters would be beautiful, and then seal them with Mod Podge Ultra because it's not going to be tacky and you're going to be able to actually use them and put your drink on it and won't be sticky. So this would be beautiful for coasters. And talk about like a great gift.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I am now going to get into my treasure gold. I hope everybody has enough time, I can't talk. It's only Monday. I'm going to get into my treasure gold. And I'm just using treasure gold as a base coat for my glitterific. You don't need to, but we love us some glitterific or some treasure gold and glitterific. So I'm just using a little bit of treasure gold. Whoops. And I am going to, you can see on the example where the gold is, I am just going to do a thin line of the treasure gold. So I'm going to go right over my linen, right up to my navy blue. And again, you could add more of this treasure gold if you wanted just the treasure gold to show and you didn't want to cover it up with the glitterific. That's also a great option. I think the gold and navy is beautiful together. So if you wanted just a stripe of gold without the glitter, that's a great option also. And then I'm going to add one more. Dry paint there from the bottle. So again, if you just wanted the gold to show, you could absolutely add more or just let it show, but I'm gonna actually put the glitterific over that. So you see those beautiful veins? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna let my glitterific or my treasure gold dry for a second, and I'm going to use my glitterific tropical. So this is a beautiful blue, a blue teal glitterific. So if you're not familiar with glitterific, you're missing out. It is the thickest, can you guys see that? That is paint. It's not glue. It is different glitter particles suspended in a clear base. So if you can see that, it's like glitter poop, you guys. So this is tropical and it's got beautiful, I'm gonna hold this up to the camera. Can you guys see the shades of that? It's like blues and pinks and purples and silvers and golds and iridescent. It's like everything you want. It's like a little ocean. I love the name tropical. So we're gonna use that. And we are going to cover the navy blue with the glitterific. So you can use a palette knife, you could use a silicone brush, or you could just use a regular brush. And this isn't going to ruin your brushes, so you just want to wash it out immediately, but it's going to come right out of your brushes with soap and water. And it's really, you can see how thick and chunky it is. So you can see that. So I'm going to scoop it, and you can add as much or as little as you want. So if you brush it out really thin, you can kind of see the two different looks you can get. So you could brush it out very thin, or you could glob it on. I like to glob it on and get a ton on there. And I kind of like the texture with the geode. So if you brush it out, it's going to be smooth. But if you kind of gob it and leave it heavy, it's going to kind of have that look of a geode, like it's kind of crunchy and 3D, like it's going to have great texture. So you can pat it on is also a great way to get it on there. So I'm just gonna pat him on the sides. And again, I am just using Glitterific Tropical right on top of the navy because we didn't blend any of the navy, if you notice. We left it solid and we're just using that as our base coat. And then I am going to get in here on this line. It's okay if you go over, you don't need to stay exactly on your line. Again, it's so thick and chunky. You could even use a popsicle stick to spread this. And again, you could spread it very thin and it's going to be smooth, or you can leave it like a little bit more 3D and make it chunky. If you've ever worked with this, it moves around really well. And again, when it dries, it's going to be no mess glitter, which is amazing. But if you don't have glitterific and you just have loose glitter and some Mod Podge, it will absolutely work. So I'm just going to fill in. Emma, does anybody have any questions? This is like the easy part. This is the fun part.
Someone said they're definitely a glitter clobber, which is very relatable.
Oh, yes. The more, the better.
And someone said they really like that kind of glitterific. It reminds them of a mermaid.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's such great colors, too. So, again, no matter what color you're making your geodes, you can find a glitterific that's going to match that.
Yeah. That's a great point, Kira, because someone said the gold glitter was sold out at their local Michaels, but you really could use any kind of glitterific that you want. We have a really great variety of colors in our glitterific line. So
yeah, this
whatever
stuff
speaks to you.
flies off the shelves, I know. And we are shipping every day to Michael's. So I know sometimes it could be frustrating when you're trying to get a product, but we have people working literally 24/7 at our plant. Everything of, all this paint that we're using, it's made in the USA. And so they are working 24/7 right now to safely get everything to the stores. So just bear with us if you can't get it. Try a different color or check back. Again, online is a great option. Definitely trying to get craft supplies in everybody's hands.
Mhm.
And so you can see I didn't have this upside down. So that's a tip too, to store your glitterific bottles upside down. I'm having to dig. I'm getting low here. I had to dig into my private stash of the gold glitterific for tonight.
Kira, Aaliyah said, I don't have any glitter, but would an iridescent medium work?
Oh, iridescent would be beautiful.
Yeah, our color shift would be really pretty.
Oh, color shift would be great. I love that idea. You could
Dragonfly.
use dragonfly, color shift. You could mix all of it too. So you could do iridescent on like where we did the adrift. You could even do that. Yes,
Someone
you could
said
put.
they're,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
so I thought this comment was awesome. Someone said they're using gold stars and moon glitterific, our glitterific icons.
Cute, cute, cute. And if you don't have glitterific and you just have the metallic, the treasure gold, you could just even leave the gold. I kind of look like, like that look also. But I'm gonna add some glitterific since I have it here. Again, super beautiful gold. And it's not just gold, there's just like different tones of the gold. It's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am just gonna go right over top of my treasure gold. And again, you could leave your treasure gold. The treasure gold's a little wet. So I'm gonna smear. But again, just fill that in. If you're painting along, maybe hit the treasure gold with your hair dryer, because I don't want you guys to have a mess here, but for the sake of time. He is really thick, you guys. You kind of just got to work it back and forth. You could always wipe it off also. That's what's great about this glitterific. I'm gonna get a smaller brush. You can almost just wipe it off if it gets into your part of your painting that you don't want it on. So again, just work that in, and you could do the whole line. You could do some of it. My glitterific or my treasure gold's really wet right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna fill in with my glitterific right on top of my treasure gold, and treasure gold is always a great base. So you can use glitterific without base coating. It's so beautiful and has so much great glitters that it has a ton of color. But if you want a base coat, a metallic is always a great option. Or color shift and glitterific work really well together. We always use in the craft room, we use color shift as a base coat for glitterific.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can see how thick this is. Look at my bottle. So I am just gonna keep adding some glitter. And that's really it. Once you finish this, again, it's just a quick, simple project that looks beautiful. And, it's a great thing, like somebody said, to, give as a gift or do multiples of. You could really do a couple of these very quickly, and just maybe change your color and use the same glitterific on all of them. So, maybe blue geode, green geode, pink geode, but you use the same glitterific colors could be really pretty also. So they tie together. And I am just piling this glitterific on there because I like it to look very chunky. It looks like a rock. Okay. So that is my geode.
Looks great, Kira. Looks so good.
Let's see. All right. Any questions, Emma?
I don't think so. I'll let there be another minute in case people want to ask their last minute
Yeah.
questions. People are saying beautiful, looks so nice. Thank you. They love it. They love the glitter.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Ah.
It's another Monday.
We made it another week.
I know, we're glad to be here. We've got another garden class this week that we'll be teaching. I think it's on Friday. It's a garden, a clay pot, how to make clay pots into a birdhouse. So with some Mod Podge. So we'll be teaching that later this week also. And again, check out all these classes. You can watch this on michaels.com after. So a lot of great options. You can paint it along if you want to do it again. You know, it's always fun to like paint it once and then go back and do it again.
Practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And we used all the awesome folk art paint and glitterific and treasure gold. And I mean, again, you know, one's a little bit more blue, one's a little bit more teal, if you guys can see, but so beautiful as a set. So I hope you guys can see that. All right, Emma, do you want to pick a winner?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're picking a winner at random here. So guys, if you're the winner that's chosen tonight, make sure to go over to our Facebook page. It is Plaid Crafts, and direct message us and let us know that you won one of our Michaels classes, and then we'll get your information and send you over your goodies from tonight.
Yeah, we'll get you some glitterific and treasure gold and folk art.
Yes, absolutely. So going randomly, our winner tonight is Susie Green.
Hey, Susie, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
So Susie, you want to go to Plaid Crafts Facebook page and direct message us and let us know that you want it, and we'll get you product out. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Michaels, for having us. We hope everybody had fun painting along and was inspired. And we'll see you guys again later this week.